Hey, before we get into the manifesto here, I wanted to kind of watch the Q&A and stuff just to see what they had to say. And kind of interesting stuff. Nothing too crazy was pointed out that I was really needing answered overall. They just kind of talked about most of the stuff. Otherwise, I probably would have had a section in the video for that. But yeah, I'm curious about what they had to say in the ultimatum because one of the things that was brought up to Rory was the explodey chest and kind of what is going on with that. Um, so definitely going to be looking for that in here. But overall, I mean, they pretty much just yeah. I mean, I'm just more hyped about maybe it's because I just watched everything else and I'm more hyped about the league and I'm still like thinking about what I went through with this. But I mean, they kind of talked some stuff about like the trading stuff when they brought up this, and how they talked about some of the harvest stuff. I think was in one of them. But yeah, overall, really cool stuff. Didn't really hear anything too crazy. Yes, they were making references, so I guess that was funny. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the manifesto here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reaction slash summary of these, and then we'll kind of go from there, but I won't read word for word because, oh, I guess they're not that lengthy, but yeah, but that's how we'll cover these sections. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Okay, so it looks like what they're doing here for this one is just low life, and low mana and low energy shield now are all 50%, and they're just going to rebalance some of the things. Mainly, the stuff I saw here is punishments getting a slight nerf because of this, and the assassin stuff is getting a slight nerf. That makes sense. Pretty cool. Then blood magic, what do we got here? 2 gems, we know that much. Okay, so what they're doing here is they're just changing some of the physical or some of the bleed stuff into physical damage over time multiplier stuff. That's really cool. Um, I mean, that just makes sense. And then what do we got here? Corrupting blood now is a new thing of its own. It's separate from bleed damage. And the big concern I had when I just read that is what about staunching flask? Well, the good news is it'll cover both. But now it's 2 different things as far as from you to a monster as well. And then down here, they talked about blood stance being stuff. The big thing that kind of got me is this, and yeah, pretty much they got rid of the more damage, well, ability to do twice damage, essentially 100% more damage with bleeds inflicted by the bow or whatever. And that's been removed, and now it's just a more multiplier of some sort. So that's kind of awkward. But yeah, we can go ahead and I was reading through it, and let's see if well, I think I had a reaction, but here I'll put that here. If there was. The other influence weapon modifiers that grant poison and bleed inflicted with this weapon to deal 100% more damage over time. Have been removed. No, my bleed build. Why? In their place, elder influenced weapons can now roll a new local poison or bleed damage over time multiplier modifier. Okay, well, wonder what that's going to be. Huh, interesting. I mean, it was very powerful and it stacked multiplicatively, of course, but man, okay. Oh well, I guess I'll have to deal. Okay, the way skills specify cost here of this has been changed now so that it makes more sense or not. I don't know. Kind of weird understanding this because they pretty much talked about the Chainbreaker Keystone, which I think is that rage thing that was kind of overpowered, or a lot of overpowered, but I think this is their way of nerfing that at the same time. So now you can somehow have reservation skills no longer have to mess with your mana as stuff, so you won't have to wait for it to recharge. But what's weird is, I guess you can just turn them all on, but they'll activate as soon as they're able to, or something. I don't know. I'm trying to picture how this would work. It's a little weird, but yeah, that's this section right here. Kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it's looks like they changed how the background it works, just so that it kind of nerfs that at the same time. But also kind of a buff to anybody who has to reserve a lot of stuff. So Orbots, there you go. Have fun. Okay, what do we got? Atlas passive balance. Okay, looks like nothing too crazy here. I mean, there's just some that are too like high value targets of diplomatic escort. Guessing that's more for like the uh, change of performance and stuff. But nothing too crazy stands out here. Also, probably the only one that I recognize the name of. So cool. But at the same time, kind of nice. Oh, I think this was actually mentioned in either the podcast or Q&A. All monsters in the incursion, or at least magic, they has been moved off of that place. Oh, okay, to the existing. Okay, gotcha. They just changed that one around. Okay. Well, they said something about what this did. Can't remember now. But yeah. Um, so mainly we'll have to check what they've added and what's new. And I guess Power Hungry no longer exists. And I can't remember what that does, but there we go. Anyway, Vol skills. What do we got here? Okay, so yeah, it's easier. They said this pretty much in the video, and well, pretty much when they were asking about it. They don't want. And I think this was Rory who said something. They don't want people spamming them again. I think even Chris mentioned something about this. There was a lot of overlap of questions, but increase the 6 souls per 2% life lost. So now it's pretty much doubled. Pretty nice. They also lower the soul prevention time on certain um, damage gems per duration, which is cool. Reduce the vol cost, increase the number of uses for certain skills. Definitely looked like that was a thing on Vol Spectral Throw. I'm gonna have to tell a friend about that. He loves Spectral Throw, period. And then stuff, they done some balancing stuff. They mentioned that they nerfed Vol Righteous Fire. I think Rory said that. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if they're gonna nerf it to a point to where it's just something you won't want to use on every spell build. But yeah, we felt it was too easy for any spellcaster to use this skill. Yeah, kind of awkward with very little downside. Note the fire damage over time aspect of the skill has been increased, keeping this an attractive option. Ooh, okay, I might have to do a Ball Righteous Fire, like Righteous Fire build or something. Kind of wanted to do one last league, but that kind of looks cool. Okay, what else do we got here? Skill balance changes. Okay, so some pretty big nerfs here, actually. Blade Vortex, Blade Blast, really curious to see those numbers. Toxic Rain, although Blade Blast was completely insane and absurd, so I still think it'll probably be fantastic. So, unless they just completely destroy it, like they're gonna have to do some big numbers to actually get rid of that. Toxic Rain, kind of oof there. General's Cry, didn't know that was the craziest thing with channel skills. So that's kind of interesting to see. You might look up what those were doing. I wasn't aware of that one too much. I know General's Cry and they talk about Fortify down here was the thing. Seismic Cry, okay, that makes sense. There was some kind of dumb stuff with that. Carrion Golem, that was a insane build, but I don't know if that was really all that crazy, maybe. And Vitality. Yeah, I can see Vitality getting a nerf. I was using it on pretty much everything I could. And with how it worked on, what was it? The Inquisitor, that was pretty insane. Frostbomb and Wave of Conviction had their exposure lowered. That's kind of rip. Flesh and Stone kind of got nerfed because of the mana reserve there. The defensive power, stance. The offensive power was way too high relative to the reservation. I mean, I don't know if the offensive power was, just saying. I mean, they could probably do that up that and then, you know, just because they did that. But yeah, sure. Not gonna lie though, probably still gonna use it. Crazy defensive power for sure. Vigilant Strike and the Threshold Jewel, so the way they just kind of said this is that it's gonna be longer, but not 30 seconds long, or it might even be shorter than a high level Vigilant Strike. I don't know. I'm kind of instead granting a shorter fortified duration than a high level vigilant strike. So that could be a little awkward. I mean, everybody's using some form of fortify these days, pretty much on every build, except for maybe bow builds. unless you're, of course, uh, champion. But yeah, Divergent Berserk uh, is getting a buff now. Yeah, now grants Berserk buff 0.25% more spell damage. I don't know what that. Oh, from 1%. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, that's definitely definitely a pretty big nerf there. That's a fourth of what it was. That was kind of insane, especially with the other stuff that I think that was the chain breaker. But anyway, general balance changes. Let's get into that. It's all nerfs. Oh no. Okay. Okay. So I might just do these one at a time because I just read this. Because I had a thought while reading this. But the so quivers as caster offhands. So the good news is now pretty much all the stuff you would want it for, like damage over time multiplier, critical multiplier, chain modifiers and stuff, only apply to attack or bow skills. The Signal Fire and Rigwell's Quill's unique quivers have also had their physical damage added as fire, and projectile fork modifiers changed to be with attacks only. Cool, that makes sense. Good change. Now I'll actually use something else other than a bow for caster things. I don't mind this change. Kind of odd carrying around a bow when you're casting spells and not really using bow skills. So, but I was afraid there when I first saw that because I was like, until I read bow skills on the next line, because I was like, no, not my damage over time for things like caustic arrow. But yeah, cool, cool. Okay, let's look at physical explosion body armor. Okay, so here we go. Let's knock out a few of these. So pretty much the physical explosive body armor, they went ahead and took off the 100% chance for this. Now it's a load. Now it's a chance. They don't really say here, and they will have a second tier mod, a lower tier that has a lower chance. So that's how they're doing that. Harvest Monster Life. This is for the Detonate Dead. That's actually a build I was playing where I had the Harvest Monsters. They've been lowered as well, so that the Desecrate monsters, will have can't just do that. This strategy will still work, but the difference in monsters used won't be so significant. Hexproof. Also, they're adding on monsters for ritual. By the way, they've said that you can make them all specters. I think that was Rory who said that. Maybe Chris did too. But yeah, um, I wonder if those introduce some of these problems. But anyway, hexproof. Pretty much this is where you're cursing yourself, such as stuff like Cosprey's Will allows you to get through hexproof. Well, you are not your own enemy, so can't do that anymore. There you go. Poison Sextant. This was the thing where you could stack a ton of damage and a ton of movement speed, and they just removed that entirely. And now, though, because they think it's cool that people do this, there is a unique item that retains this, but it's capped. Fractured fossils and beast splitting. So we already knew this was a thing, but what else? Is there something new here? Actually, I haven't read this one yet, but I'm already going into it because it's so small. Items that have fractured fossils used on them also gain the split tag. Ooh. Oh, wow. Interesting. Not have imprint made of them or applied to them. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's a little awkward. So yeah, beast splitting. Kind of interesting there. That's I mean, I knew they were going to do something eventually, but yeah, they went hard on that one. Okay, Atlas mission sustain. Okay, so reading through this one, I was kind of scared because they removed the awakening objective bonus from just completing Atlas missions. Um, like this kind of awkward though because now the completing it kind of weird. But they decided to keep the Atlas passes at full strength and remove the awakening objective bonus so that players has a choice to invest in more Atlas missions if they desire. So that's cool, but kind of interesting that they would get rid of that part of just doing all the maps. Um, like they want people to do all the maps, but people don't want to. And I mean, at this point, it looks like they're kind of going to make it to where you don't have to complete the maps to get cool things, which is kind of odd. But I mean, I guess you still might have to do a certain amount. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but interesting there. Delirium item quantity and rarity. Let's just go ahead and read this real quick. We've lowered and standardized the amount of item quantity and rarity granted by Delirium Fog. Ooh, They now give up to double the inbuilt item rarity of monsters, and up to 50% the item quantity of monsters. Now caps out at a maximum depth rather than at 50% depth as was previously the case. Now we got passive tree changes. Okay, I'll go ahead and read these and see if we got anything crazy in here. Was this part of this? Okay, that was just that. So let's see what we got here. Maybe we got some nerfs, or a lot of nerfs, or some buffs. Okay, so here we go. So real quick, I would like to point out this right here because I just said how could I get that? But I remember I think doing this for one of the bow builds I was working on. You get fortify with the life flask thing from Hardened Scars, and you can just do this by doing a hybrid flask, and yeah, that just made that really easy to do. So with the enduring prefix, so that's kind of awkward. But now, can only Hardened Scars is if you're gaining life, recovering life from a life flask. Anyway, now we have, let's see, we'll go from the top. Anything on the cluster jewels that involved area effect, skill effect duration. Oh, and by the way, looks like all these are nerfs. And projectile speed or effect as well have been nerfed on cluster jewels. Definitely the aura effect, so that's kind of funny. As a relatively minor change, they made the defense part on the Pain Reaver, yes. Wait, no, wait, which one is it? The minor essentially changed. Yeah, Pain Reaver. Yeah. I guess they put a new defense effect on it. It says replaced, but I'm like, yeah, it sounds like it's the same, only you just have a defense thing on it instead. Um, so I guess we'll have to see the actual thing in order to understand it. But yeah, sounds like it's just the same with an added thing rather than a full replace node. Other than that, though, they also did another change to where you don't have to just attack to gain the stuff from Flawless Savagery. Kind of cool. So now it looks like it's probably just a hit rather than no longer limited to attacks. Immortal Ambition. Okay, so this pretty much is a nerf for a lot of the builds I've been playing recently. Pretty much I was using this wherever I could, so fair enough. But it's the life leech isn't removed when you're on full health. It'll go to energy shield. Now they made it use the total energy shield recovery from leech rather than from life when it hits the energy shield. So I mean, you may be going really fast with life leech, and then essentially your energy shield would kind of turn into, while you're leeching, it effectively is health. Now it's kind of more of just it slows down, and it'll still leech, but at a much slower rate when it hits energy shield. So you pretty much just still have your life pool, but you can get that to limit the um, effect of or just so you can keep life leech going, and there'll be some extra leech going on with the shield stuff. Other than that, though, they also decided to change the corrupted soul so that you gain 50% of maximum life as energy shield. So instead of 20% are there as well. So yeah, both of those together, pretty strong. Definitely used. I think I had both of them on my Detonate Dead build that I had too. I even used it on that. And let's see. Now we have the Chainbreaker. So now instead has skills cost +3 rage instead of the causes you to lose 5 rage when you hit an enemy. So there we go. Mines could bypass that and totems and stuff. So there's that. Hardened Scars no longer grant Fortify during the effect of any life flask. Oh yeah, that's the one I just read first. Because that one funny thing. Anyway, Necromancer's Essence, Glutton Notable, now has been nerfed to half. So 4% for mana regenerated when you consume a corpse. And then Primal Aegis from the Elementalist is now 75 damage per allocated notable from 100. And yes, it was, let's see, I had about 3,000 actually. So if I lose a fourth of that, what is that? I guess that's only 750. So that's still well, that's still a pretty big hit. That's 225, I think, or two. sorry, 2,250 rather. So yeah, pretty big dip on that for having 30 notables. But yeah, I guess that works. I don't know if I'd have 2K though with the first build that I was doing in hardcore with it. So that could be a little bit ripped, but it's still a crazy, like, it's just a bonus stacking defense thing on top, which is just kind of crazy. So I can deal. I can see that. I was gushing about how OP it felt anyway, so fair enough. But yeah, that's everything there in the manifesto. Um, and we'll move on into the just a quick look here at the that's loud. Challenge rewards. There's the pet. That's cool. Essentially looks like you can look like chaos. Now that kind of looks cool. For the portal, I kind of like that portal. As far as just how small it is, and it's different than what I got. As long as the click box on it, it seems legit. I would use the green one I got, but the portal seems too big for the click box or whatever. I miss it or something. It just feels weird to try to click on. But yeah, okay, those look kind of cool. The was that a head to begin with? Okay, it's the helmet. Okay, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for all of these. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that. Let me know what you think about all this craziness in the just comments down below. Usual stuff in the description, Twitch, Twitter, Discord. That'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.